When was the last time you played a game that really gave you that, man, this is so cool feeling? I've had a few over the years, but for me a particularly memorable one was in The Witcher 3, when Geralt and Vesemir chase after that first hippogriff. Was it a hippogriff? Anyways, as soon as this game started, I felt that excitement of, man, this is going to be so cool.
Deteriorated! Those foul gargoyles pollute the skies!
Tyranids have the orbital guns.
They do! These unrelenting attacks make a counter-offensive difficult.
We shall take care of that.
And it doesn't take Space Marines long to get going. In the first minute you get dropped in the middle of a Tyranid invasion. Explosions, lasers, clouds of attacking bugs everywhere. It looks freaking epic. And the graphics and artwork really help sell the scale and epicness. Plus, it all looks quite beautiful, even on the Steam Deck. This is the kind of game I dreamed of playing when I was a kid after watching something like Starship Troopers. This is the exact kind of vibe. Tyranids look like they could have come straight from that movie. The planets you land on are beautiful. Dense looking foliage, cool looking machinery, and also massive gates everywhere. I only played the first Space Marines for a little while, but I do remember a lot of grey and brown tones. But these environments all look lush. Even inside there's lots of shadow and lighting effects making the environments pop. And then there's of course the Space Marines themselves. Look at these guys. I'm not really enveloped in the 40k lore, but these guys are just epic. Especially next to these feeble humans, they feel like the badasses they're supposed to be. I mean, look at this guy's arms. Even Arnold has nothing on him. If you played the first one, you'll be familiar with Lieutenant Titus, the same badass Space Marine. 100 years have passed while Titus has served in the Death Watch as a Black Shield for heresy. Do you hear what I mean? Everything sounds so cool and has so much gravitas. Just listen to these guys talk.
What is your life?
My honor is my life.
What is your fate?
My duty is my fate.
What is your fear?
My fear is to fail.
Anyways, I'm not sure what all of that means, but he's found to be free of taint and reinstated into the Space Marines as a lieutenant and given command of his own squad of Marines. Both of whom would easily place in the Mr. Olympia Opens division, if you know what I mean. Space Marines is a squad-based shooter, very similar to the Gears of War games, which means that you can play it in co-op. But I don't have any friends, so I played it by myself and I still had a blast. The two Marines that accompany you do a great job reviving you, which I needed a lot, giving you cover, killing baddies and stuff like that. Your teammates also make comments on the situation, and you and them will be going through a lot. Something I always love in shooters like these is the bond you form with your teammates. I haven't gotten very far yet, but I'm already feeling it. Unlike Gears of War, this is not really a cover-based shooter. It's more of a Souls-like combat system. As a Space Marine, you come equipped with a melee weapon. My go-to is this cool chainsaw sword, but there's also a combat knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
These weapons can be used to, as you might have guessed, hack apart with both light and heavy combos any of the incoming Tyranids. All of this goes accompanied with lots of visceral fluids and guts flying around. Attacks are telegraphed by blue, parryable, and red, get the heck out of the way colors. Perfect parries stun big enemies and obliterate smaller ones. And then there's of course your guns and grenades, which you use in conjunction with the melee weapons. It takes a bit of getting used to because your Space Marines feel like tanks in the best possible way. Your movement feels heavy. Your heavy attack looks like it would fell an elephant with ease, and even those light attacks would probably knock over a house. My point being, those dodge rolls, parries and attacks have to be timed. Button mashing, which is my typical mode of operandi, doesn't get you very far. Alright, let's talk about the Steam Deck performance. This game is beautiful, dense, hectic, not a single minute goes by where the game doesn't throw at least 20 enemies at you. My point, there's a lot going on. But when I played the first level, I have to say I was very pleasantly surprised at how well the Steam Deck seemed to be handling this game. This should all be taken with the normal warnings, meaning I'm very lenient on what I would call playable. But take a look at this for yourself. Yes, there are some drops to 26, 27 frames per second and sometimes even lower, but it keeps a very decent pace, and due to the slow nature of the Space Marines, it didn't bother me a whole lot. This was on low settings with FSR on performance mode. But then, however, we landed on Kadaku, the second level of the game, and this was clearly a bridge too far. There is so much going on in a small area that at times the game would crawl to 15, 16 frames per second, which made the fighting challenging. Even on ultra performance, the game would crawl significantly. It's playable, but again, probably not for most people. For the ROG Ally, on the other hand, with higher settings but the same resolution, 1280 by 720, settings to medium and FSR2 to balanced, we get a very decent 30 to 34 frames per second in almost every situation. Even on high and ultra, we get decently playable frame rates, although it's starting to chug. But I would say the Ally is definitely the preferred machine to play this on, especially during the later levels. Did I say how much I love this game, by the way? It is absolutely epic. If you only have a Steam Deck, you should probably still get it. That's how cool it is. Leave a like, check out this video for my Wukong review, another cool action game, and I hope to see you in the next one.